Welcome to this webinar series. This is Bill Wilson of Midwest Permaculture. What you're about to hear is a live webinar that I did with some of our students from one of our design certification courses. It's an hour-and-a-half presentation broken up into 18 segments. I've been giving a presentation of one form or the other on permaculture for 5 years, and I continually look for those pieces that seem to hit home, the pieces that people can relate to on a deeper level than just charts, graphs, and information. So you're getting the best of what I've got to offer at this point. All right, well, here's basically what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about what permaculture is. We're going to talk about the case for permaculture, why we need it, or why it would be useful at this time in our lives, and then what does it look like? What does permaculture, how does it look on the ground? One of the things about this presentation is I've given a lot of these talks, and I've tried to condense permaculture into shorter and shorter times than I can do it. But what you're going to be getting here is, minus the video that I show of Bill Mollison, this is the full 3-hour presentation that I give. I also pull out a few other pieces that I know we're going to be covering in detail, and a lot more detail in the design course, so there's no reason to touch on those tonight. But slide number 3 here, Dr. David Suzuki, he's well known in Canada. He's been an environmentalist for 30 years, a geneticist, but he made this interesting quote. He said, what permaculturists are doing is some of the most important activity that any group is doing on the planet. That's pretty high praise, but he goes on to say, we don't know what the details of a truly sustainable future are going to be like, but we need options. We need people experimenting in all kinds of ways, and permaculturists are one of the critical groups that are doing just that. And as we go through this presentation, we'll get a better idea of what it is he's talking about. But I'm guessing that some of you have told your friends that, I'm going to go take a permaculture course. And they kind of look at you, kind of tilt their head and go, whoa, what's that? What's permaculture? And if you were like me in the early days trying to explain it, I kind of stumbled over my words, and by the time I was done, they really didn't know anything more than when I had started. So let's just go over a few quick definitions. Here's a simple one that I like. Permaculture, or permanent culture, it's a creative and artful way of living where people and nature are all preserved and enhanced by thoughtful planning, careful use of resources, and a respectful approach to life. And thus embraced these attributes, create an environment where all may thrive for untold generations. That's really the goal, is to create something that lasts a long time. The next slide is Bill Mollison's definition of permaculture. Very simply, he says within a permaculture design system, wastes become resources, productivity and yields increase, work is minimized, and the environment is restored. Permaculture, as you know, comes with a variety of design principles, and depending on who you're studying from or what books you're looking at, there's anywhere from a half a dozen to 18. But these are the highlights. These are the key ones that I like. Observe and connect, use biological, renewable resources, catch, store, recycle energy and materials. You can read the rest. But you'll notice there's nothing in there that is new to most of us. It's all common sense. Permaculture is not something that's totally new and created out of the blue. All permaculture was or is, it's a system by which we take the best of indigenous cultures with common sense, science approach to solving problems, blend them together in a way that is takes care of planet and people, and you've got permaculture. So very simply put, slide 7, permaculture is just a design system whereby we find ways of living to allow for permanent cultures to exist, where all humans live abundantly well while leaving the planet in better condition than whence we found it. Quite simply, I was a Boy Scout, and we were always taught when you come to a campsite, observe the campsite and leave the campsite in better condition than when you found it. And that if each generation of humans, as we come into the planet and we have our life experience, if we left the planet in better condition than when we found it, we'd be living pretty much in utopia today. So that's, in essence, what we're trying to do with permaculture design.